we are here to bring you everything and anything surrounding Porsche. I'm Mike.
I'm Aaron.
And this is PCar Talk.
All right, welcome to another episode of PCar Talk. I'm Mike.
And I'm Aaron.
We got a great show for you guys today. We are going to go over some Porsche recall stuff. Oh, man, this is going to be a big one, huh?
I can't believe we didn't realize about the recall until after our lunch meeting.
Yeah, interesting. And then we're going to thank some guests, and we're also going to talk about some Taycan news. And we're going to also talk about some developments with our partnership with Porsche of Tampa that we have, right? So Some good stuff coming forward. So let's go ahead and get rolling. So nearly 340,000 vehicles are going to get recalled, dude.
I thought I heard a higher number. I mean, I don't want to quote numbers, but I thought it was higher than that.
No, I think it started at like 99,000, and now
really?
It's up to 340.
Yeah, because it's like from 2003 till and up.
And it's Cayennes and Panameras. So what they're recalling these things for is the stupid parking brake on them, right?
Yep.
The electronic parking brake
Should be electric, should be mechanical.
That's we always thought about that was an issue to begin with when they first started coming out with those, and not just Porsche, like all the marks that are making them. Yeah, in general, it's like, what happens when that fails? Well,
it gets stuck on.
Yeah. Either way, I mean, that's a failure. Yeah. So here we are, right? So 340,000 vehicles being recalled, and that's just right now. There may be even more being recalled because these vehicles' parking brakes are failing and the vehicles are rolling away essentially, or they're moving and possibly killing somebody. I mean,
if you live in Florida, you're pretty much safe because flat. But
they said that. Yeah, you live in California or wherever.
San Francisco, could you
like that one actor, not to get dorked out, but in the newer Star Trek, he got crushed by his Jeep, his Grand Jeep Cherokee a few years ago. He was I forget what his name was on it, but he was one of the younger actors. He came home, and his Jeep basically pinned him against the wall in his house in Malibu and crushed him and killed him.
No, I didn't.
Because a parking brake failed on it. Like they had those rolling problems with those too, and he lived on an ascending hill. Long story short, this is obviously an issue. It has taken lives, which brings me to the point of obviously this is a big problem because from a standpoint of when risk management comes around, the brass sits around and says, okay, what's our liability here? Is this that big of a deal? Do we actually need to make a recall? Because recalls are clearly very expensive.
Yep.
So it's a dollars and cents thing, right? So is it in a situation where they must have figured out that their liability is going to cost way more if they don't fix these 340,000 vehicles, right? So
that's a lot of policies and stuff to pay out.
Okay, exactly. Or potential lawsuits or whatever may happen, death suits, and because they didn't make a recall. So my question is, in order to do that, I wonder how many incidences that have happened that we don't even know about.
That you don't know about. Yeah, you just know that. I mean, I didn't have any awareness until somebody on our Instagram was like, we posted the picture of the GTS Sport Turismo, and they're like, oh, those have parking brake failures. They'll roll forward. And I was like, what? And then we started looking into it.
I looked at it a few days before that, but I do remember that conversation you and I had about that. So let me ask you a couple questions about this, right? So is this bad press for Porsche? I mean,
well, it's not.
I know it's not good press. I know that's the easy answer, but I'm saying I guess where it's kind of a misleading question when I ask you, does it even matter? Is this going to hurt them? I guess is what I want to ask you.
Well, it is in their wheelhouse market. If it's Cayennes and Macans and Panamera, I mean, I understand that's a lot of cars, but that's their bread and butter for how they go racing. So if they do have fail, I mean, it also depends, yes and no, because it depends on the real percentage of failures. I mean, they could, like you said, they could just be going safe and they say, hey, we know we've had this many.
Almost kind of the airbag situation, right? Like yours may not deploy, but this has happened,
and we
want to get ahead of it. Yeah, we want to get ahead of it.
This would cost us more if we let it prolong, and we're aware about it. So we ethically have to take care of something. We are aware. We can't just sweep it under the rug and go, maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. Percentage says probably won't, but here we are.
Yeah. I find this to be interesting because, and I'm going to piggyback on the conversation that we just had the other day of not really knowing that this has happened, right? Like, and you and I are pretty in tuned with reading things and articles that come out, especially about the Porsche brand, right? So 10 or 20 years ago, if 340,000 cars were being recalled for any automaker, that would have been like front page news, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, bom, 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 breaking news, da-da-da, da-da-da-da. You know, Ford is recalling 340,000 vehicles because they may kill you. Like, it would be on every news station and every radio station and everything, and everybody would be in the know. It's like, oh, my God. Do you find this odd in this modern era that there's probably a ton of people listening, this is the first time they're hearing this as well, that this is flying under the radar at this level, like at 340,000 cars being recalled? This is just, okay.
Maybe it's not a big enough number for the news to care.
Or do you think that maybe that there's just so much going on nowadays that this is just not even important anymore?
It probably was
right?
mentioned on 11 o'clock news or something, and that was it. Hey,
it's
Porsche problems.
Yeah, it's more important that, something happened in your neighborhood and then you didn't even realize it. It's like, oh, baby runs down the street at 5K marathon. It's only 6 months old. It's like, what?
And now you're watching the news. Good for you.
But do you find that odd though that it didn't even get as much press?
That also raises the question: if it didn't get a lot of press, how large is the problem? Like you're saying, we can speculate.
Or are we so far close? Or are we at the beginning of the ripple effect yet? Maybe even big press hasn't even thought about that this is an issue yet, or maybe they don't even have anything that they can propaganda that something had happened. So maybe Porsche is being proactive in a good way that nothing has happened. So there's nothing to report on other than they're recalling cars.
Well, that, or they can't put a dollar figure to it. They can't say it's X million dollars, or it's been how they they love big numbers. Maybe it's not big enough where they can quantify it into a story and scare everybody else that it's going to happen. They're going to buy because they own a.
Well, you and I weren't alive during this time frame, but like the press was notorious for basically ruining cars, essentially, and for good reason. There was cars, and where I'm going with this is like what the Gremlin had like a gas tank defect. If it got hit from the rear, it would explode, right?
You can say that.
So essentially, like the press brought that to light. Oh, people are dying in these ball of flame explosions. This is unsafe. This is on. It's granted there were people dying from it, but I guess maybe it was a different time and place, because
maybe.
I guess where I'm not that I'm encouraging any news affiliate to do this, but I'm surprised that, and we all know how news works and propaganda works. I'm surprised that this story hasn't been embellished by some news factor somewhere saying like, oh, the high-end brand Porsche, their 340,000 of their cars are failing and rolling and killing people. That's the headline. That's the clickbait title. Well, even though that none of that has happened. I know I'm kind of like talking. I'm just saying from like being a human being living in the time that we're living in. I'm just a little shocked that this isn't getting more press than it is.
Maybe it's worth it. Maybe it's not demographic wise. What's their demographic that drives a Porsche that watches the news? Mm-hmm. We don't know.
I thought this would just be easy pickings, though, for a news place to say, okay, wow,
maybe
Porsche, you guys are uppity. You guys are so perfect. You're recalling 340,000 cars. How could you guys do any wrong?
They might just not have all the info or more. They might not have.
Or they probably just don't even care.
Or that's probably the real reason. Yeah. Not caring at all.
Sorry, we got the show started and I didn't even discuss. We're in our new studio. How do you guys, I know people that are listening but not watching, but what do you guys think of the digs? The things have changed. Scenery's changed. We got a whole setup now. We got a dedicated area. We're still going to remain mobile.
Yeah, we got a rug.
Yeah, stepping up our game. We got a rug, guys. New table. What?
Yeah.
But a whole bunch of decor. Like I said, we have a dedicated place now to do our actual, when we're at home base to do our podcast. If we're not mobile, the equipment's still mobile. When we go on location, we're still going to do that stuff. But it's nice to actually have a place that's just ours now, right?
Yeah, it's nice. I like it.
So that's pretty cool. And just wanted to bring attention to that because this is our first episode from that. So, things are on the up and up, right?
Yep.
So moving on. Next thing, let's do this. Let's go through and I wanted to do this at some point in the show, but like what time better than now? Let's go ahead and just knock this portion out. Let's go ahead and thank everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
That have become members of the PCar Club.
Yeah.
Right? So we have opened up membership last week, I want to say.
Yeah.
Or the week. Yeah.
Before.
Yeah.
That's been 2 weeks.
So we opened up membership, and we've had a good response, and we're so thankful to these people that I'm going to name for taking that first step in community and standing us up and believing in something different and new. Yep. And being those, guys at the tip of the spear. You guys, thank you so much for believing in this new concept and getting behind it. And all your stuff is on the way to you already for being a PCar Club member. So let's go ahead and get to it. Ed from Georgia, thank you so much.
Yep.
Andrew from Georgia. Dennis from Florida. Jamie from Florida. Jaime, sorry, not Jamie. Kevin from Florida. Kevin from California. Some Kevins, huh? Chad from Florida. Jeff from California. Rich from New York. Albert from California. Thank you guys so much for taking that first step and becoming a PCar Club member. And believing, like I said, in everything that we're doing and supporting us. And not that, to take anything away from the people that are just listening that haven't taken that step to become a member. But I think that you 10 should get a special accolades. Actually, I guess 11 should get a special accolade and a special thank you. And you're getting all that good stuff, becoming a member too, that's coming to your way. Like when you signed up for your membership, their decals are going their way. The shirts are on their way. Which leads me to say, hey, it's not too late. It's never too late. We're not closing it anytime soon. This is for everybody. This is to strengthen the community. If you are interested in becoming a PCar Club member, please go to PCarTalk.com. Yep. And look under virtual membership. Yep. And then there's 3 tiers of options there. Please go on there. Please read them. We're giving a lot back, right? We're not just actually in this to try to take your money.
We're literally giving things back.
Yeah, we're under the mindset, and our business acumen from where we came from is infuse much money back into what you're doing as possible. So just gain comfort in your dollars are going to strengthen the show, and it's actually going to get you a lot of additional things, right? It's giving you full access for the live feed that will happen on the last Tuesday of the month. It'll get you a t-shirt. It'll also get you a decal. If you get the RS membership, you'll get the coveted RS decal, which is only for the RS membership. Majority of these people that actually joined up are RS members
for the year.
Yeah, and we tiered it to where you could pay monthly or annually. I would recommend that you do the annual because you get a month off of your membership if you do the annual membership. Correct, Aaron? Yep. At each level. Yep. So we tried to offer you some kind of, accolades for doing a year. You get a month off. And additionally, to close and wrap up that portion of the membership, so I don't beat the drum too long here, is that there's going to be an awesome giveaway on every show, right? Every single show. And it's not to entice you guys, but it's to actually legitimately give back to you. Mm-hmm. Like, everything that you're putting in, we're trying to put as much back out to you guys as feasibly possible where it makes sense, and we're not going into the red over it, obviously. So the whole goal behind that is really to just build the strength, get you guys in the door, get you guys in the platform, make you guys all PCar Club members. It's a networking opportunity for everybody as well. And again, the people that are members are only going to have access to the live feed. You have to be a member to have access to the live feed. And then the people that have already joined, this is a message to you guys, because we're using the Facebook platform for the private chat. If you don't have Facebook, just make a dummy account and like the PCar Talk page so we can send you your private link, because we can't send you your private link until you like the page. Yep. So please do that. I'll repeat that. If you already are a member, like the PCar page so we can get you your private link. It'll get sent to you. And if you're not a member, please consider being a member, because this only benefits you guys. It gives you more access. It gives you more stuff. Yep. And additionally, in this digital era, why not have this, right? Like, why not have something that you're not in a position where you're roped off because you're globally outside of a realm where you cannot become a member, right? Like this has no barriers.
Essentially, the way that we're thinking about it, it's a digital meetup. Mm-hmm. That's the way that we're thinking of it.
With a bunch of swag that goes with it.
Yeah.
Well, tons of swag, right?
So you meet up, you get something, potentially.
As opposed to being maybe geographically locked
Yep.
and not being able to be a member because you don't have access to something. And maybe you get a magazine every month. Okay, cool, because you have a membership there. Well, then you live in Sri Lanka and there's nobody else for you to meet up with. Well, guess what? This is your meetup. You get to come on the virtual platform if you become a member, and you get to chat with the other members. You get to chat with us, and you have a sense of camaraderie and a sense of community. So that's one of the major reasons why we did this, is to have a global platform where people can dial in and people can talk to each other. And we wanted to stand that up. And these 11 people have got behind that to start with. And we hope a lot more people get behind that and want to stand this community up. And, we've talked about where we are, long-term plan vision with this is we hope that people are chatting and get close enough on those platforms where maybe if somebody is traveling within whatever country they're in, they can go onto that platform because they also are a PCar Club member and say, hey, I'm Kevin from California and you're whoever from Australia, Andy from Australia. I'm going to be in your town for like 7 days. Can you show me some cool spots or some
what's there to do?
Yeah. Is there some cool pubs to hang out at? And can you text me or send me some links, or can you meet up and let's hang out because I'm over here already and you're a Porsche guy and I'm a Porsche guy and let's all get together.
We're all Porsche guys.
Yeah. So it's like, that's the end goal, right? That's the end goal for all of this. Oh, hey, I'm in Oregon. I'm from California. I'm here for a week on work. I don't know anybody here, but I'm a big time Porsche guy. I got a couple Porsches at home. Or maybe I don't have any Porsches, but I'm still a Porsche person. Who wants to meet up, from the PCar Club? Hey, this is Alan. I live in Oregon. I'm a PCar Club member, and, I usually cruise on Thursday nights. You want to go cruise with me? Yeah, man, let's go do that. Yeah. That's what we're trying to do here, guys. That is what we're trying to do. So that's the whole, genesis of this.
Yep.
Wrapped up. But that's where we want to go with that. I'll let you guys marinate on that for a little bit. Let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back with some more Porsche news.
Yep.
Thank you guys listening to PCar Talk so much. We appreciate you guys so much. I can't say that enough. Please go to pcartalk.com and check that out. We have a virtual membership on there. We are on there on Tuesdays meeting with you guys. Become a virtual member. We would solely appreciate that so much. Also check us out on YouTube. We release videos on Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Help support the channel. Everything we're doing is trying to bring the community closer together. We definitely appreciate that. Also, when you go on the YouTube, if you could subscribe, maybe pass it along, make a comment, we really appreciate that. Again, circling back to pcartalk.com, there is a newsletter created on there. Please put your information in there. That way we can keep you up to date on anything that's coming forward and anything that we're going to be doing moving forward and all the exciting things that are coming out. And again, the virtual membership is on pcartalk.com. Now back to the show. All right, we are back from break. Thank you, guys. And we're going to talk a little bit about Porsche insurance. So the interesting thing about this topic, I know insurance so super exciting.
Exciting.
Riveting, right? But the interesting part about this insurance, it's for the Taycan. So Porsche came together, right?
Yep.
I could see them sitting in a room. And there's okay, well, all the big insurance companies charge a shit ton of money for insurance on an EV car, especially when it's expensive EV. We're not talking about low end EVs or anything like that, but any EV at a high level. This is the Taycan's going to be a 6-figure EV.
Yep.
So insurance companies and new cars getting entered into the market space, generally they don't know how to properly mitigate that or properly basically underwrite that.
Yep.
And they sit there and they say, what's the best thing we can do? Well, we'll just charge a lot for it.
Yep. And we'll
to cover ourselves.
Yeah.
So we don't go in the red over this car. So Porsche is pretty smart because they're getting ahead of this because they're already thinking in this mind space of okay, these people who are going to buy the Taycan, even if you can afford it, they're probably going to get fleeced on the insurance side of this because this is going to be a $100,000 car. It's going to be new technology. and there's not going to be any parts. There's not going to be any like LKQ parts out there, like high quality stuff for this thing. Everything is going to be brand new OEM stuff off the shelf.
Yep.
So if the car gets in an accident, it's going to murder an insurance company.
Well, because they really don't have any. Well, one, how many have been hit?
Exactly. So my point is, it's new.
Yeah.
And they're only going to deliver 20,000 of them to begin with.
Yeah.
So
40,000 or whatever.
Or 40,000. What do they do? I don't know what they do. I don't know where the number's at this point. But the point is they've seen that gap. Now they didn't quote, what it's going to be, if it's going to be more affordable, or I would imagine it would have to be, because the whole purpose behind where I'm going with this, I'll go full circle here in a second. They're offering this to get people into Taycans because they know that's going to be maybe a drawback for some people. They're going to say, this may be too expensive for me. I want to go electric, but these are for the people that are on the fence, that haven't bought in yet.
If it's a price option, they're able to subsidize some of that.
Exactly.
The insurance
so what they're doing is they're trying to eliminate that fear.
Yep.
So that's what the purpose behind this is. Now,
so I have a counter argument.
Go ahead.
Are they making the insurance because they're worried that the other insurance companies won't insure these cars?
I don't think it's about a won't. I think it's about how they'll insure their cars. I think they'll insure it at such a high level. I think that Porsche, if they're going to make a claim on their own vehicle with Porsche insurance, everything's all controlled within house. This may not be a program, obvious, it's offered forever, especially when the populace starts to turn over to full EV.
Do they want hundreds of thousands of people on?
Exactly. And then once the big insurance companies can figure out how to properly underwrite full EV cars, maybe they'll start to release this program at that point. Yeah. I think this is basically a bridge for them to make sure that they have a success with the Taycan as far as a flop. They're basically trying to plug any potential hole for a potential buyer to make up an excuse to say, I don't want that car because fill in the blank. I don't want that car because fill in the blank.
Yeah, and remember too that the Boxster and the Cayman are coming out full electric versions not too far after.
Exactly, right?
So they'll probably be insured as well.
Exactly.
So everybody's familiar with, well, they offer it with the Taycan. Why? I'll just get the insurance like I do for that. My all electric Boxster.
Absolutely. So what are your thoughts on this? Is this a good thing, or is this just a gimmick?
I mean, if it's saving people money, I think it's a good thing. If they're really,
but we don't know that yet. We don't know that yet. Do you think? Okay, put yourself in the consumer's shoes for a second. Would this help you purchase the car because that this is offered now? Now, I'm not saying that this is not something that you just pay in the purchasing price. This is obviously probably something where you pay an annual premium. You still have to pay it out of pocket. But is it something that gives you comfort in knowing that, where maybe they I don't know if it's an advertising tool. It probably will be if they announced it, where people in the dealership are saying, hey, your insurance premiums will be much lower on this vehicle than you think because we offer insurance with the vehicle.
I think it's a really cool way to stay within the ecosystem for all things that I want for a car.
Yeah.
When I buy the Porsche brand, I don't have to go looking, what does, USAA or any of the other insurance brands, what's my premium? I don't have to call them. I don't have to deal with anybody else. I get to deal with just Porsche.
That's true.
And like you're making the point was the parts are going to be OEM. They're going to fit the car. The service is going to be done, obviously, by Porsche, so my car's going in there longer. Maybe if I buy the insurance, there's other incentives, like my maintenance. Maybe the warranty is longer now. Maybe there's all kind of things they can work in within that. And maybe it isn't separate from the payment. Maybe it's worked into the car payment, and now it's one payment. Now it's not two separate things I have to pay every month. It is lower. I am getting OEM parts at the end of the day if something happens. I mean, I see a lot of benefits. At least you're eliminating one single thing that I have to think about outside the coverage space. I don't have to go outside for my insurance.
Do you think Porsche is kind of opening themselves up to a potential big risk factor? Are they under assessing? Yeah. Are they under assessing the ramifications of doing this? Because insurance companies clearly, I know no new ones pop up, but I'm talking about the big ones, have been in business for a long time. Obviously, they have a lot of accumulated wealth. They have a diverse portfolio. They have reinsurance that protects them in a massive loss. Are they in a position, is Porsche in a position where, are they being like overly arrogant maybe? Like, are they thinking that this is a low risk for them?
They're insuring specifically 20 to 40,000, whatever the actual production
That's true.
number.
That's true. So they're
vehicles.
underwriting at a lower rate, like
Yeah.
meaning like lower risk because there's a lot less vehicles.
I think
That's
they're
true.
gonna- I think
That's a
they're gonna
good
see where it
point.
goes.
That's a good point.
Like everything that they're doing, they do it on a small sample scale to see.
Yeah,
where
it's a
gonna
test
be.
bed, right?
Mhm.
It's a test bed.
They're not going, we're going to insure every Porsche everywhere.
You want to insure everything? We got you. I think it's an interesting thing all the way around. Do you think we're going to see more of this from Porsche in other realms of business? Now, I don't have an example. I know we're in the know. You know, obviously there's a Porsche design tower in Miami. We know that they've entered in that real estate space. Well, I guess what I'm asking you,
Homeowners insurance for your Porsche design
yeah,
studio.
I wasn't going that route, but that's a good point. But I guess, do they continue to try to be like a bigger monster of monopoly?
to really bring home a lifestyle
Like, we're capable
brand.
of doing this, and we've got this, and we've got this, and we've got this. Does this this the beginning of something, you think, or is this just something, a sign of the times where they're like, there's an opportunity here, we just want to sell cars? Am I overthinking it?
I think they're taking different. Like I said, I think they are taking a calculated risk here and there because they are starting to see a bunch of money roll in from everything they're doing. I mean, they're obviously winning, and I think they're winning races, so that's probably just projecting them even higher in sales.
Yeah, they're printing money. We've discussed this before, right?
So
they got like a mint in the back. It's just boom, money's just punting, boom.
They gotta do something with their euros.
Yeah. We have to spend this money? It's building up in the factory. Please spend it.
We can't keep it in the bank anymore. There's not enough room.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't know. They really preach it as a lifestyle, and with that building and having the garage, you can have your car in your place with, that would be, and having it insured by Porsche, and I mean, it's an all-in-one lifestyle brand from a car maker, which is, no one else is doing that.
Yeah, so maybe they're approaching it like there's tons of opportunity for them, and why not, right? Because as we all know, we're Porsche enthusiasts. You guys are Porsche enthusiasts if you're listening. Anything from Porsche, the joke is we got to have it, right? So maybe they're finally playing into that. We're saying like, okay, cool. You want Porsche toothbrushes? We got that too. You want Porsche toothpaste? Got that too. I know I'm exaggerating, but I'm just saying.
They went as far as like, well, they have all the road apps, so now you can go and you get in your car and you choose where you go, and they'll help you figure that out concierge wise. So it helps plan your vacations.
From the minute you wake up, you could put Porsche clothes on, right? Like, and get in your Porsche car and live in your Porsche house.
It's essentially like the Lego movie. But
everything is awesome.
Exactly. He's just doing everything Porsche. Hopefully that doesn't sound terrible like we're lemmings. But I can see them just wanting that brand to be as passionate as everyone is about it, to be that life thing. That's their hobby. That's your thing. You like to do Porsche stuff. That's what you do.
I'm going to go off tangent here a little bit with this, because that kind of like sparked my memory, or not memory, but idea in my head of, a conversation you and I have had offline. What do you think? I mean, obviously the driving's there. We've discussed that thousands and thousands of times, but like from a lifestyle thing, like you make a good point. You struck a chord with me when you said that. Why is it that basically Porsche has been able to enter into this world? What makes their secret spice so much better than any other brand? And it doesn't even have to be a high-end mark, but like, why is the dedication, you think, and I'm just asking your personal opinion, you don't have to get too deep with it, but why do you think that they're able to enter into these spaces successfully compared to other people? Like, oh, well, I'm going to make a Maserati building. It's like, that's never going to work. Like, why is Porsche able to build an executive tower and sell it out? Like, how are they able to do that, you think?
I think that's the exact thing. And so I know you said not too much the mark.
I mean, if you have a deep answer, it's fine. I mean,
I think what they built is just like they built a young professional all the way to executive brand. They've made that once you've entered into the Porsche
all encompassing is what you're saying.
Yeah, once you've entered that realm, all you're thinking about next is, well, what's my next position? What's my next move? Should I buy a business? Should I build a business? Should I? You feel like you're in a different league of people, and
You're always reassessing your goals.
you're
Essentially,
reassessing. You're actually you're in the best motivational group you could possibly be in the world.
yeah,
Because you have people that are just as hungry as you are and pushing you constantly.
always fighting for air.
Exactly. So you've entered into a motivational building cult and going to that next level, and they are not
Self-deprecating, always fighting.
and they're never gonna stop.
That escalated quickly.
Well, great. You got a Cayman.
Yeah.
Well, you know what you really want? You really want a GTS.
That's cute. Someday you'll be a
911.
911 guy.
Oh, you got a GTS 911. Oh, what you really want?
To quote our friend DC, who says that all the time. He's like, it's funny. This is just a joke, guys, and we don't mean anything by this. But he always says a joke, and this is our friend. He's probably late 20s, early 30s.
He's 30. Yeah,
okay. And he has a 911, had one for a while, and he always jokes around. He's a surfer dude, super cool guy, really humble, really good guy. He just shares this joke within the group. He's like, it's really funny. Sometimes, you see a guy with a Boxster, and you tap him on the back and you go, hey, it's a cool car, man. It's a Porsche. Someday you'll get the 911. And he goes, how funny would that be as like a 30-year-old trying to say that to somebody who's like 50 years old? And that, again, guys, we don't mean anything negative by it. I'm just sharing a story from a friend of ours. It's like, it's just, I had to reference back to what Aaron was saying, like his story, and I didn't want to steal any momentum, but like that pinnacle of like trying to continue to fight for the next level, right?
They have you on the ladder of trying to get to the next rung.
So you think it's just a fact of almost
and inviting too. I mean, it's never.
So it's a inner competition, but it's playful and healthy competition,
exactly,
right? Within the groups of people, right? Like, well, I want to be an RS member, and I don't want to be this, and I don't want to be that, and okay, well, I want a GT3 RS. Okay, cool. Well, I want,
Yeah, what's Dan doing? What does he do? Oh, he does that. Well, I need to do
You're
that,
right, though. That does happen, like, because we have friends that are like that, right? Like friends that who like. Wait a minute. He just bought a what? He just bought a 74 RSR? Oh, hell no. You're like, I got him.
Exactly.
Don't tell them that I'm going to buy this car, but I got him.
Exactly. They're in the group text.
Yeah, I'm going to buy a DP car. It's over. I'm buying a Kramer car, and it's like
they're not in the group text.
Yeah.
With everybody else.
And then you see it, and you're like, ooh, he just one upped you. He just bought a Kramer car. He did what? And you know what I mean? It's like, and it's just, you're right though. I think it's one of those things where people are, depending on whatever inner circle you live in, if you're a Porsche guy and you have that, like, eating each other or nipping at each other and always trying to go to that next level, that maybe they're able to play on those heartstrings better than any other brand, right?
Mm-hmm. I think so. I think they have nailed down who they go after. I mean, it's just, and I think that harkens back to everything we've said about racing. It's competitive.
Mm-hmm.
And so you just draw on the two edges of competitiveness and then engineering. So things that make sense from a function and form, and then competitive, we're going to win. We're here to win. That's what we're here to do.
Yeah, we're here to kick ass, right?
Whether or not we do it or not, we hope we do. But if we don't, that's what we're here to do. That's
You're like, oh, that's cool. You brought a cute car here, but we came to kick ass.
Yeah, but we got the Berg Spider.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I think it's one of those. I totally agree with what your statement on is. I think the reason why I bring that up is it just fascinates me as a person, because I like to, like, I'm a critical thinker. Like, I like to think about things in depth and think about like what makes people tick. And as a company, if you actually sat down for a second and thought about Porsche as a company, and you told me right now, like, obviously it already exists, but say let's rewind before the building exists, and you told me on paper, you're like, okay, well, we're going to build this executive tower, and it's going to cost fill in the blank per place, 7 figures, whatever, and there's going to be an elevator, drive to your place, and if you polled a group of people, I bet you the majority of those people will go like, that's never going to work.
Yeah, probably.
But they do it anyways, and it does work.
And the Porsche guys would want to drive to the building.
Yeah. And it does work. And I guess it's fascinating to me because I guess they go against the grain in a cautious way, but in the sense of like, they're just not taking risk and firing off the hip. I find it fascinating that they take these risks as a brand, being a fan of the brand. because you think about other spaces where you think about maybe a Fortune, 200, 300 company, whatever you want to do, fill in the blank, about entering in other areas of business.
It's probably
you could say a
years
financial
and years of
company. It's like,
development,
okay, yeah, maybe behind the scenes they own land. It helps, secure their actual interests. Mm-hmm. But you don't hear them being like, oh, well, they just bought like, Central Park, or
yeah, it's gonna help us.
Like just, I know that's an outlandish thing, but I'm saying like outside of their comfort zone, like you're thinking about an automobile company who built a structure.
They're not throwing caution to the wind.
I'm talking about something that's totally out of your comfort zone as a company, and they're doing it, and they're doing it successfully. Yep. They're not failing at it, and I just find it fascinating as they're able to bridge that gap, as opposed to, like I said, just mentioning in a financial firm. It's like, okay, rewind it a little bit. It's like, all right, we're a financial firm, and now we're going to build cars. It's like, what? That's not going to work.
Yeah, probably not.
But, not to harp on that topic, but yeah, I just thought it was an interesting topic for debate. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so we have partnered with
dun, dun, dun.
Porsche of Tampa Bay. What does that mean for you guys? Well, what that means for you guys...
I know what it means.
What? Answer.
Oh,
you in the front.
Oh, okay, me.
With the big-ass beard.
They spotted
Are
me.
those beehives on... Is that a bee... have you seen those? I'm sorry to run off on a tangent, but you've seen those guys where they, like, have the bees, like, all over them? Like with the bee...
I have no desire to do that. No, I'm not.
No, but I'm saying maybe sometimes that's what your beard looks like. You got, like, a whole thing of, like, bees on it. Okay, anyways, answer where I was going.
That
Sorry,
means
tangent.
we're going to do more content for you guys on our Mixed Bag Fridays for reviews, and those reviews will be newer cars. Mm-hmm. So not only we're going to go to the whole spectrum here.
Yeah.
So new stuff.
So no more of you don't know what you're talking about because you never drove a Cayman.
Exactly. We've driven the newest Cayman.
Yeah.
And we'll drive an older Cayman as well. But that the whole thing is we're going to get the spectrum of every car, stuff that launches. So if it launches, we should be able to get our hands on it. So.
Yeah, so thank you to Porsche of Tampa Bay for partnering with us on that. We're thankful for that. We have another partnership that we're working. We don't want to announce it yet till we actually have some meetings with them and some inner workings and things like that. So there's more to develop on that end. But this one has come to fruition on that side of the house. So we kind of wanted to announce that, and we're very excited and very thankful and grateful for them to work with us.
Yep,
since we're hometown guys, we should, we're going to be helping each other, and that's what it's about, right? Like, help promote the next person, help bring somebody up, help support the cause, make the community stronger. And maybe back to the last topic, maybe that's why Porsche is so successful, right? Everybody that's in the community wants to see everybody wants to kind of see everyone do well. Mm-hmm. But Porsche Tampa Bay, yeah. So we basically have the keys to the castle. So we're going to get to drive anything from a brand new Cayenne Turbo S, if they have one in stock for us to drive, all the way down to, a Boxster S or anything within that lineup. So we're going to add validity to the driving experience, give you guys opinions about what we saw and felt and all that kind of stuff with those cars. Like Aaron said, we'll be doing full-on YouTube reviews of those cars. But you'll get that from here too. We'll talk about it, and we'll reference those cars that we drove and talk about, like, oh, I was surprised with this. I didn't like that. I thought this. Yep. You fill in the blank.
You'll get to see what the hat test is.
Yeah. We're going to have a hat test. It's going to be interesting. More to follow. You got to watch the videos to find out what that is. But so we're very excited to announce that. And so there's going to be a lot more exciting content coming that way. And we're very, very, very fortunate and so humble that we're here. You would ask me that if we ever had an opportunity to do something like that. I've been like, you're out of your mind. Why would anybody want to partner with us to do that?
Why do they care?
Like, who cares? You guys are clowns. So this doesn't, whatever. But while we were with them, having that conversation, so we got some inside information, which is pretty cool, circling back to the Taycan, right? So talking about battery technology with the car, right?
Yeah,
so,
but I didn't know all this.
So yeah, a quick charge system that they're offering. Porsche is going to be the only one, he said, that's going to offer this level of quick charge system where you can get 80% of your battery back from when the car's dead in 15 minutes.
Yep, that's super fast.
Yeah, let that sink in for a minute. 80% of your battery back in 15 minutes.
Now, since we don't have a range number, I'm sure that's kind of conspicuous as to
Well, I guess you
that
could
is,
kind of
but
get a ballpark
say-
number. Say the car has 400 miles worth
Yeah.
of range. You're looking at what, maybe 350 miles?
Yeah, enough. A tank of gas.
Yeah. It's enough to
Why not?
get you back around town in 15 minutes for another
sure.
week or two.
Yeah.
So the reason why I bring that up is we had this intimate conversation with our contact there at Porsche of Tampa Bay, and we were discussing some of the electrifying program and things that were happening, and Aaron and I, and it could be just lack of apathy or just uneducated about it, but how Electrify America program, we didn't know that program was owned by VW. At least I didn't. Maybe you guys did out there. So that could be, not news to you guys, but that was news to us. And that's a good thing because everybody knows how strongly VW is behind electrification.
AKA the bus.
Yeah. Especially after their whole Dieselgate faux pas.
Yeah, we're gonna scrub this under the rug,
Yeah.
and we're just gonna go electric.
Yeah, we're just going away from fossil fuel altogether.
Exactly.
But the good thing, like I said about that, is they have the dollars to put the infrastructure into our country that is required for these charging stations. So the Electrify America program is basically going to stand up electric, basically charging stations all over the U.S.
Yep.
And that's being funded by VW
Yep.
to
Electric gas
basically
stations.
encourage people to buy electric cars so you can charge at these stations all through the U.S. Smart move, dumb move, what do you think?
Well, you gotta have the electric gas stations to get places.
I agree, but why
travel.
But
You
why,
have to have people
but why
to
do they
travel.
need to stand it up?
Well, it's in their interest too, because I mean, with being VAG and being that part of the group with Porsche, it's only going to benefit Volkswagen, Audi, and Porsche all at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, we already know that, like I said, the bus.
And then they'll probably charge other users that don't own those cars.
That's
meaning
a smart
like,
move.
yeah, if you
Own the grid.
i.e. Ford, Chevy, when they come out with their full-on EV cars and you want to charge at those stations, well, then you'll just pay to charge.
Yeah.
As opposed to
that's a pretty
maybe,
smart move.
and
Well,
then it'll pay them back.
Yeah. I mean, also too, looking long road, like we kind of talked about offline, they could be. I mean, eventually, I can see it being a cost, where it's going to be.
Oh, of course, I'm
minutes.
sure it's not going to be unlimited opportunity
because we're putting strain on other technology or
of
other,
course,
you know.
of course. Yeah, they're using
maybe
resources.
other- yeah.
They're using resources at that point. I mean, there's no denying that.
Other facilities.
Yeah, they're not. There's no denying that. I think it's pretty interesting in the fact that's happening. Kudos to them. Obviously, trying to make a lemonade out of lemons. What ended up happening to them there.
Yeah.
But with that being said, we also we talked about this with him as well, and I don't really recall how deep we got into this, but we've talked with electrical engineers and we've talked to other people in that world where we discussed on a prior show that no one's addressing the grid,
Yep.
right? So what I'm referring to is if you go and plug this car in and you want to get your 80% battery or whatever it is, the interesting thing about that, it's going to do a power withdrawal on your house. So if you need to wash clothes or you need to run your dishwasher or whatever you need to do, it also has a huge amperage draw.
Yep.
You're not going to get to do both. So
Or you wouldn't.
correct. And that's where I'm going with this. So generally, from what our knowledge was, is it's one or the other. And essentially what's going to end up happening is if every other house had one of these, there'd be rolling blackouts everywhere, right?
Yeah, because you
So-
can only have so many amperage and
Exactly.
doing their thing.
And so where I'm going with this is Porsche is actually working with a lot of electrical companies and power stations within every country to see what they can do and how can they help stand this up and what's going to happen.
Yep.
So with this electrical technology comes, at least from the Porsche world, I can't speak for any other brand because this is just what we were told from the Porsche side of things. Their charging system is going to be intelligent enough to understand the hour of the day,
Yep.
when you're home. It's going to basically be an AI system where it's learning you and your habits.
It's essentially going to be like a Nest if you have for your thermostat for your house.
Exactly.
But the bigger thing is that they're actually making a box because they at first, like Mike was saying, if they didn't have anything to do any of this electrical management, you would have you would shut down your house.
Be screwed.
Or maybe you wouldn't, but then your neighbor plugged in one, and then you definitely shut down the block.
Yeah. And then transformer goes out, game over.
Exactly. So, but with these boxes, it's not only just the management piece of it, but they have different amperages. And I don't know how much is proprietary, so we won't talk numbers on that. But so they have different amperages. That's why you're able to get the fast charging 80% in 15 minutes. But not only do you have the different amperages, and it learns it, you have there's a couple different networks that they're constantly going back and forth and looking. And so say your neighbor does have a Taycan and they plug it in the same time yours does. Well, your Taycan's like, hi neighbor, I see you. Mm-hmm. All right, I don't need that much charge now. So he's not going to charge at the same time.
And at the same rate.
At the same rate, exactly at the same rate. So they're not putting a demand on that network at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty smart idea.
Yeah.
Obviously.
And so, like, I'll repeat what he just said, just in case you missed it. These cars are going to talk to each other. So they're all going to be on this network, and exactly where they're going to learn. So if I for example, let's just paint out a scenario. I come home, I'm low, and I need to charge. So it's 5:00. We're in the house, we're cooking dinner, we're using all the stuff, and I've had the car for a while, so it knows what's going on. It's still getting juice. I want to have it plugged in, but it's getting a lot less juice because it knows I need to use juice in the house. For example, let's say I go to bed at 10:30. The car knows I go to bed at 10:30. The washer's not running. The dishwasher's not running. The whole house is asleep. It's seeing what the power draw in the house is super low. Well, then guess what? The charging system goes to full bore and then hits the car with all the juice it needs and charges it up while everybody's dormant in the house. That's what this AI system is basically going to do for all of these cars, which is just mind-blowing technology to me. Like, it's awesome.
Yep,
awesome.
And it still doesn't take away from your 911 experience that's not electric. Or Cayman Airbox that's not electric.
Yeah. So that was a lot of information. Of basically, short answer is that's how Porsche is going to combat the lack of participation from the grid wherever you live.
Yep.
Because
it doesn't matter.
Because I was always wondering that. I was like, dude, we're going to shut down grids when these cars start to come out. And not just Porsches, all of them when they go full EV and they need charging. Now, I can't speak for other brands if they're all going to have this AI intelligent system. I would imagine at least from the VAG group, that will probably be across the board. I would have to imagine.
I would say that, but then again, like, not just Porsche, but once these do roll out, and I know there's other companies that have them. I know Chevy has the Volt and stuff like that. And they do have boxes. There's going to have to be some governing body that says this standard works this way, and they all can communicate. Because if it's not, it doesn't matter that the Porsches talk to each other. If there's 15 Fords in the block and they are just ramping up, taking down the grid.
Totally agree.
So, well, I mean, I'm sure that'll be figured up, and I feel like maybe Porsche's pioneering that. I don't know that Tesla does that. Maybe they do. If you own a Tesla and a Porsche,
let us know.
But I mean, Porsche.
But it seemed like they weren't, because the way he described the technology when he was telling us about it was something that isn't being done.
Yeah.
Because he would have said, because we had Tesla talk in that conversation, he wouldn't say, "Oh, it's like the Tesla system," or Teslas do this as well. Or,
that's true.
Like, he was saying, like, this AI system is going to talk to each other. Like, and the great thing about that is it's all integrated in the car already. And, he was all way forward thinking when he was telling us all this other, like, the goals for a lot of this stuff. Like, if you happen to have two Taycans next to each other or something like that, they're going to be able to talk to each other, and you're not even going to know it. They're sharing data, they're sharing stuff, they're sharing speeds, and you're not going to have to do anything.
There's a little bit of driver automation that's happening.
Yeah, like some iRobot crap going on, right?
It's pretty crazy. Definitely some iRobot stuff.
No, I want manual drive. No, you don't get manual drive. This is iRobot, fool. Like,
sit back, enjoy yourself.
Exactly. But we wanted to share that with you because I know there's a lot of, like, old school kind of guys that listen to us and it's like, I don't want any of that crap and I don't want any of that stuff. We just want to share you with the inner working, because I know a lot of guys are tech guys like us and they want to know the why, right? Like, a lot of us want to know the why behind something. Like, why does this work this way? And I found it fascinating, even though I'm a combustion engine kind of guy, and this being an electric car, that was a very interesting conversation to me to say that hey, we've built an AI to this car where it's going to learn your system in your house, and okay, it's going to figure out when it needs to charge and needs to do that. So that's, my end of it, that's one school of thought. I'm sure there's probably plenty of other schools of thoughts where like, oh my God, that's so intrusive. Like, it's going to learn my habits. Like, oh my God, it's watching me. It's going to report back to whatever, and it's going to do this. Like, there's always that, like,
I just thought about something, and like we talked about
conspiracy theory stuff that's going on. It's like my Alexa knows, how to data mine me and shows stuff up. I mean, we just live in that era, guys. Like, it's something we have to all accept. They spy into our lives. Like, long as you're not going to do anything crazy or say anything, it's like on the extremist level, I think you're going to be okay.
So I was just thinking, if you have the Porsche set up to plug in and everything, and it's networked, I'm sure it has some type of unique ID on there. And then they charge you for the amount of electricity you use. So now you're getting your Porsche, essentially electric gas, is getting charged or taxed or whatever. I wonder if you can get credits or something.
Maybe. And I mean, I know there's Germany. It sells energy to other companies, and like there's, countries. I mean,
the other companies.
It would be nice if we could get to an area of technology in our own country where, if I use, certain houses are doing this, and I can't speak for everybody, but there are places in our own country within the U.S. where people are getting kickbacks because they have solar power. And they're selling their solar power to energy companies, and they get a kickback on that. I think it would be nice too if maybe even if you had an electric efficient home, even where, let's say you're somebody who travels a lot and you don't use that much AC. It's hotter than Hades in Florida, so our AC is always running. But I'm saying maybe if you use less AC than everybody else, and then you had your lights on and you use less power than everybody else, I know that's okay, we have a less electric bill, but maybe you even get a kickback because you're not having a draw now.
That'd be cool.
Like, okay, you don't have a draw now. You don't wash clothes for 2 weeks because you're on the road for 2 weeks and you're not at home.
Or you just don't wash clothes.
Or you're just a dirtball and go swimming in the ocean, whatever.
Yeah.
But you get my drift. What I'm saying is, it would be nice to like,
if you save energy, you get to save money.
Exactly. As opposed to just maybe your energy bill is lower. Okay, I get that, but you're still paying a fee.
Yep.
But I meant maybe you get a kickback because somebody down the road from you has 3 electric cars and they need to make that draw, and they can take the power you would have used and then siphon it that way.
But only Porsches.
Yeah, exactly. Any other car doesn't count. Porsche dominance, right? But tell us what you guys think in the comments, right? So, is this a cool system? What do you guys think about that? Is it too intrusive? I don't want to get into, like I said, a conspiracy theory thing. I think it's a great thing, to be completely honest with you. I'm always for new things. Maybe even if I don't put my dollars to it, doesn't mean I can't appreciate it, right?
Yep.
So would I love to have one of these cars? Of course, yeah. Porsche, hit me up. I'll demo the car for a year for free. But
long-term review.
Yeah, exactly, right? But we're a huge advocate of it. I think ultimately, right, we need to be progressing.
And I think just convenience-wise, I mean, it'd be great to have something like that where it just does its thing, and especially when it does the automated driving. We all know that'll happen.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, absolutely.
Not on the way to like Petit Le Mans or DRT or.
And we've discussed it many, many times before, and so we won't sound too redundant. But like, I think the ultimate, like the perfect situation, right? It would be to have your all-electric city car. Mm-hmm. To do all of the things that you need to do, and then like your enthusiast car, right? Your combustion 911.
If you had to pay tax, because that's probably what will happen on your combustion car, would you to drive it on the road? Are you paying the tax?
No comment, because I don't want Uncle Sam to know that I would pay tax to do that. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people that are listening, I think we're gonna suck it up, Buttercup, and do what we got to do in those situations. I don't think a tax, unless it's egregious tax, are going to stop us from driving our cars. I think we'll pay it. Almost kind of like I hate having
tax,
having to pay on the expressway. I pay a toll fee.
Yeah.
Just because I save 10 minutes out of my way, but I do it.
10 minutes is worth here.
But I do it, and it's expensive, and it sucks, and it pisses me off. But guess what? I still do it.
Yeah.
So same thing. It'll piss me off. I'll do it. but it'll piss me off. Will we get there? I hope not, and not my lifetime. I mean, I really hope not.
You'll be part robot. You'll live forever.
Yeah, exactly right. I'll just keep infusing myself with like whiskey and stuff so I can preserve my organs.
That's what oils you.
Yeah. But let us know on the stuff that we talked about today. I think that's about all our time. Let us know about the electric stuff in the comments for you guys that are watching on YouTube. And as always, remember, we are on YouTube. Put us in the comments below. Follow us, subscribe, do all those crazy whatever media things that people do nowadays. Additionally, let us know what you guys think about the cars that we may review. Let's hear some feedback from you guys. We'd like to hear and engage with you guys what you'd like to see, because we can maybe, cater to that, within reason. They pretty much said whatever comes in, we're probably going to get shots at it. So like when the 992 does come in, we're going to drive it. Obviously, we're going to do reviews on it. But maybe some systematic order, maybe some of the first things you guys want to see. I mean, we're going to do them all, but maybe some of the first stuff you guys are interested in about, like, what do you guys want to see?
Against what? Maybe you want to see this versus that, or you've been questioning it. Yeah,
great comment, actually. That's a great idea as well. Like, if you guys want to see us, put cars against each other and see what's going on, or it doesn't necessarily be in the same video, but maybe we can do a week-to-week comparison. Be like, okay, for you guys that were interested in this, okay, this vehicle compares to this way, and this is what I think, and this is what I would choose over that.
Yeah.
So we would love to hear from you guys on that. Again, one more big shout out to all of our PCar Club members that went out there and supporting us and took the plunge and got on board and got on the team and helped stand us up. I really encourage you guys to go look at that on our PCarTalk.com. We would really, really appreciate if you guys would help us, and you guys get a crap ton back. I swear to you, read everything on there. And I'm not just blowing smoke up your butt, but let's go ahead and build this community. Let's build the strength, and we will see you guys on the next one.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of PCar Talk. Connect with us on Instagram at PCar Talk or online at PCarTalk.com.